Join me in welcoming from Nashville, Tennessee, Dusty Wells, Director of Artist and Label Relations at Daywind Records and Director of Sales at New Day Christian Distributors.
Y'all know I'm a crier. Thank you. That's great. He does not like to take control. I love you, Lanny. That's exactly right. I always say him and Dottie Rambo, they knew what they were doing. It was 51 years ago this February, in 1972. I was a 14-year-old kid. And I know you've heard this story, but I told God a long time ago I would never quit telling the story, because this music tonight, it all begins with a song, people. It's the power of music. I was a 14-year-old kid at 17 Collingwood Circle, abused in every way possible. My mom had been married 7 times. Just a real rugged life of garbage, junk, and debris. Miserable. But one day on a Saturday afternoon, precious couple, Keith and Sharon Johns, came out and did what we used to call door knocking. And they invited me to a church on a big Sunday school bus. And I remember opening that door, and I remember seeing Sharon and Keith, and I remember seeing these smiles. And I never heard about Jesus. I didn't have grandparents that knew about Jesus. We just never knew it. We lived on welfare, had to steal our school clothes. But this couple showed such an interest in me. And what I love that they did, to this day, I get to do what I'm doing, is they'd take me home on Sunday afternoon. And they didn't have a TV. How many of you can relate? Not back then. And I'd go to their house, and she'd cook a great meal, and then they'd go in the living room and take Sunday afternoon naps, which I do love, Jaron. I do love my Sunday afternoon. I learned that from the UPC, I think. But they'd sit there and take their naps, and I'd put on these records. They'd put on records, and they'd stack them up. And I'd hear these songs like, "Only Jesus can satisfy your soul," or "Jesus is still the answer." And I'd play those records over there over and over and over, and that music. And I knew back then, at 14 years old. I didn't know how, I didn't know where, I didn't know when. But that one day I'd get to work alongside the Lanny Wolfe Trio and the Rambos and the Downings, because that's what they played for me all the time. Fast forward 51 years. And those of you know me, this is all I've ever done. For 41 years, I've worked at 3 record companies. And this year, I got to help. I always say to people, Lanny's music and Dottie's music, Marita's voice. Oh, Marita. I love what Lanny always says. Lanny's songs, Marita took those songs to a whole new place. It's what Reba said. It was the throne room. But I always prayed that I'd get to help work alongside of their music and ministry. And I always say that people like Dottie and Lanny, especially, those songs became my best friends. They become my hope. They become my encouragement. They become my life. I became to understand what true heart music was. I always loved music, and I always knew I was going to be in the music business. But I knew what music made the difference, Jerry. This year earlier, we were so privileged and honored. I've said for years his music needed to be out digitally so that the world could hear this music in a whole new way. We were able to do it. And I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to represent this music. A lot of new things on the horizons. But I'm still doing what I get to do because of people like Lanny and Marita. They were my babysitters. They were the ones that helped get me to where I'm at today. So Lanny, happy birthday. We love you. We honor you. We thank you for what you've imparted into our life. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, and I owe so much to you for those Sunday afternoons and that music speaking to my heart. So I think we're gonna, where's Elizabeth Goodine? Elizabeth Taylor and James and Tracy Shockley. They're gonna come sing a song for us right now. One of my favorite songs, Jesus, We Crown You with Praise.